It was 1984, so I'd been in this state for 10 years. It was somewhere where you sit down and there are magazines. Phobic disorders, and there was one called agoraphobia. And it said agoraphobia is the irrational fear you have of not being able to return to where you feel safe. So I thought, Brad, that's me.
Anxiety can manifest very differently for different people, and we have different names for kind of the groupings of different ways that it shows up for someone.
The anxiety disorders that people are often most familiar with are generalised anxiety disorder, which involves persistent and excessive worries about everyday things like work, health, finances, relationships.
A lot of my anxiety is about how the people closest to me feel about me. I'm not good enough for my baby, I'm not good enough for my husband, I'm not good enough for my friend, and it's quite a deep-seated anxiety around it.
And it's often accompanied by physical sensations like fatigue, muscle tension, shortness of breath.
Feeling a little bit seedy, feeling a little bit off, getting a lot of headaches, feeling very on edge.
My shoulders start tensing out, and then start doing this, and then start having shallow breath. I always have chest pain growing up. It's not a heart attack, but it's always there.
Another really common one is social anxiety disorder. Those who have social anxiety disorder, they tend to have a fear that they're going to do something that's going to be humiliating and that people are going to judge them and criticize them.
And so they may then not participate in activities, not go out for work drinks, not do things that may be expected of them.
Going to new places, meeting new people, little things that people don't really think about, like seating. Before I go on the airplane, I've been on a plane quite a few times. That'll set me off a little bit.
And then you have anxiety that is so severe that it leads into panic attacks.
And panic attacks involve heart palpitations, shortness of breath, sweating and trembling, and the person often tries to exit the situation that triggers the anxiety.
Every time I had a panic attack, all I wanted to do is sprint back at whatever the means might be to where I live.
Because these panic attacks often come out of nowhere, people become quite worried about what will happen when the next one arrives and will they be able to cope. And so sometimes they start pulling back from things that they enjoy doing because they're worried that a panic attack will catch them unawares in the middle of it.
Well, I went to my father, who is a doctor. I said to him, Dad, I think I've got these real problems on stage because I get stage fright, which was a lie. I love the stage. And he said, oh, what's it like? And I said, oh, I'm so fearful and I vomit. He said, oh, that's no good. He said, I've got Seropax, it's a tranquilizer. Let's see, if that's going to help. I took one that night. I felt so good. I thought, I can go anywhere.
So there is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and that is when a person has been exposed to a traumatic event in which they're feared for their life, or they've witnessed an event where the threat has been to someone else's life. They may avoid, have some avoidance behaviours. So if it happened in a certain location, they might avoid that location. They may have dreams about it. They may also relive that experience as if it's happening in the moment.
I used to work at a pet store. I had a manager who would just find small stuff, little things to pick on, things to do. say how to make me feel pretty little by bullying, kind of being forced out of my job. Then I get quite emotional every time I drive past or have to go over that side of town or go to even another one of the stores. I get really clammy, my hands full on sweat. I've got sweat dripping down my back. I feel like I'm back down, very small.
Obsessive compulsive disorder is characterized by obsessions and compulsions. So obsessions are recurring negative thoughts that people have.
And these are accompanied by behaviours or mental acts or compulsions designed to alleviate the anxiety.
In my case, it is about, cleanliness and contamination. It's to do with contamination about feces and urine. My obsession is, making sure I'm not contaminated by it. And my compulsion is, ensuring that it doesn't happen or cleaning myself when it does happen. There are so many forms of OCD out there that a lot of people will never have heard of, like religious OCD, moral OCD. There's, harm OCD. All of these things that are just going on in your head, but you may not see any normal compulsions. And that's why it's so important that we speak about it.
Anxiety is a general term, and it actually experienced by different people differently.
And many have come through those experiences to a happy life. So there is help and there is hope.